Tamara Caulder Richardson, and welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel.
Wow. Okay, so let's go back to the ship. So
you're back to the ship. Okay.
So this is all great. I could just swim
I think we could talk for hours about this stuff.
Oh yeah, I could swim around in the galactic pool with you for hours on this too. So going back, you're on the ship, and they made you feel warm and at home, and I think that's beautiful.
Felt really good. Felt like I was having a good visit. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like they were poking and prodding me. It wasn't anything like that. It was actually, I felt like an honored guest. Actually, it was really, really beautiful, and they answered all my questions. Like I was there, I think, for a long time, just asking them one question after another, because I was curious. I was just, what the heck is going on? Why is there so much crap on planet Earth? Why is this, why is this show? I mean, it's like,
I feel that.
So they were answering my questions, and so I think I got kind of a lot in, one visit, and it wasn't just the orientation room. They actually showed me around the ship. And there was one room in particular that stood out to me because they called it the sleeping room, and I didn't see any beds. So I was like, why are they calling this the sleeping room? And it was kind of weird. But when I walked in, the room turned purple, and it was showing me images of Asian landscape art, which was really bizarre. And I was asking the Arcturians, like, why is it doing this? And they said, well, this is what you find relaxing. And purple is my favorite color. And I guess I do like Asian landscape art. So, but for some reason, I actually think the landscape art was something that I had painted in a past life. So that's why they were showing it to me.
That's really cool. So
I think it was connected to a past life thing. Yeah.
It makes total sense. So basically they know your soul path, and they know all the things about you. So they probably know you better than really anyone.
No, they knew me better than I knew myself at the time. Yeah.
I mean, that's gotta be, no wonder you felt like an honored guest, because they really intrinsically knew every part of who you are.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very surreal. It was very, very surreal. And the other cool thing that happened was, and they showed me different parts of the ship. It was like so much, I couldn't even remember all of it because it was so much. But then they kind of cut me loose. They said, oh, we got something to do, and we're just going to let you wander around by yourself. And I said, well, I think that might be dangerous.
So you had a sense of humor. Did they laugh with you?
Yeah, we were cutting jokes back and forth. So they would tell me things like, I think one of the things they showed me in the orientation room was a simulation of what future Earth might probably look like. And it was so amazing. I started crying, and they were showing me these beautiful homes that were integrated into the environment, and there was no roads anymore. Everybody just kind of teleported themselves. There was free energy devices, and people were growing their own food, and it was, everybody just lived in community with each other. And I started crying, and I said, is this only for rich people? And they started busting out laughing because that was my consciousness, or my, I guess, frame of reference, that only rich people have really good things. And they said, no, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. Wow. And then they were cutting up, and they were telling me that, I was heavily protected. They said they've been watching me and my Earth family for generations, and even in this lifetime for years. And
that's beautiful.
And that they said not to worry. And they said, don't worry, we got your back, wink, wink, because they knew that I had a back surgery. So that was kind of cute.
Oh, what love. Really?
Yeah, it was just very cute. It was very, very cute. And they told me that the other amazing thing they told me was that all of us are protected. And they meant the light worker family, the Starseed family, that we're all protected. So there's no fear. And once I heard that, I was always a very fearful person, just trying to navigate through life. And after I heard that, I said, I don't have anything to fear. I got my star family looking out for me,
It's
so
true.
totally changed my paradigm. Totally. I mean,
Wow. That
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense, and the fact that they're looking at us now. I know that we're skipping, but that this is. I mean, you're bringing up such amazing points. So you're saying the star people, so the light workers,
the
right?
light workers, the
The
ones
light
that came
workers.
here to be volunteers for the Earth Ascension Project. Yeah,
So, and those of you, and to me, I think that you can usually tell who that is. Usually, is a driven, crazed purpose to help humanity,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like working ridiculous hours on a podcast, all hours of the, and not going on
Well, you're
vacation.
definitely a part of that family. So, yeah. So,
So
and I guess I am too, because I'm
you
working
are.
ridiculous hours trying to create content to help change humanity. Hopefully,
I
hopefully.
I know, and it's just and why is it do you feel that the light workers, that they have this sense of urgency? I know we were jumping a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So why is it that this sense of urgency? Because like you said yourself, you're working very diligently to get this information out about our true galactic history and who we really truly are, and about this whole Project Earth, and to wake up. We need to stop killing each other. It's really not a good game.
Yeah,
And
no, it's kind of old and played out, actually.
yeah, it's like I'm done with that one.
Yeah,
So because this does tie into this utopia Earth,
yeah.
and so why is it that so many light workers that you might feel have an urgency to really to really spread this love light kind of thing that's been going on, this trend, this movement, this galactic love movement?
I think a lot of my clients and a lot of folks I work with are feeling this urgency because the Earth is ascending. It's ascending with or without us. Okay, so Earth is already in the fourth dimension. It's moving towards lower rungs of fifth, and we got to get humanity caught up. I mean, it's just humans are not quite there yet. And what's probably going to happen is that people are going to have a choice. Okay, they're going to either ascend with planet Earth, or they're going to get attritioned out. So we're going to probably see a lot of people maybe passing away, or maybe being phased out. I don't want to sound alarmist, but
No, I actually, I mean, God bless you for saying this, because I don't talk about it because I think that this is a definitely an episode with you that people
yeah,
will want to hear these things
yeah,
and that will tune in. But I got the same thing. But as another viewpoint, I had Sergio Magnaya on, who's with Hay House, and he wrote the Toltec prophecies. Now
yeah,
he has a different perspective. He actually ended up working with a Pleiadian. It was an accident. Of course, they are always accidents, aren't they?
yeah, yeah.
And but he has a different viewpoint, because the Toltec, Native American tradition is different than what
Mhm.
you might think. But that he said that the vibration is, it's like just what you said, that, and
Mm.
he explains it a little differently because of his background and training, but that it is in this ascension process, and because of that, the ones that refuse to go into this higher state of where we can work toward that utopia, that their bodies will just die off, that they'll
Yeah,
just
yeah, they won't be able to sustain the higher vibrations, and so they'll get an opportunity to replay out things in another third dimensional planet, so it's not like they won't ever get a chance to ascend. I mean, but they have to work out, I guess, their karmic journey on another planet, and the rest of us are going to ascend with planet Earth. So it's not like there's going to be like, oh, we get like raptured into
right.
some new planet. It'll be the existing planet, but there'll be different dimensions that we'll be moving into,
Right.
and yeah, I do think there's going to be we're going to see a lot of people just passing
Dying.
away,
I
dying.
know. Jesus told me that. He's my teacher.
Yeah.
And he's also, I know him as Jesus and the cosmic Jesus too.
Hmm.
But he told me they would. He said, look, don't worry. We don't really die. I'll be there for people. Don't worry about it. He said,
Yeah.
but it may be upsetting. He said, but it's part of the plan. And he said, because it has to be. And he explained this. So it's not that I'm cold about it. I'm not, but it's
Yeah.
just something that I think it's free will. And they've chosen to dig their heels in and not move forward with the planet.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's their choice. But you're right. This is I'm getting on this galactic train ride. I'm
Oh no,
thrilled.
me too, girl. I'm going to take
Thrilled.
as many people as I can with me. That's my mission. You know, I'm going to
I
take.
am so thrilled.
Yeah.
So getting back to the utopia. So you're saying these homes were merged into nature.
The
With so
environment. I mean, you couldn't even
beautiful.
tell they were homes until you were in them. I mean, it was beautiful.
And then you said we have our own food. What about healthcare? The healthcare. I mean, the healthcare system. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of things in this world seem very controlling, almost like a slave planet.
It is a slave.
I know. I'm being
It is. I
facetious.
mean, we joke about it, but it is. But
It is. It is.
um,
So we basically want to free people's mind to another reality. So so the system as we know it, it would have to collapse. Correct?
oh yeah, yeah. It was a total. It was. I mean, you didn't see cities like you see now. It was all kind of smaller communities. I mean, there was some bigger buildings, but it wasn't skyscrapers or I don't know. They didn't. It didn't look like the Jetsons. Let's put it that way. It was very. I
Got it.
know it's like sometimes I remember as a kid watching that cartoon. I was like, oh man, that's so cheesy, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but but it was mainly just being really well integrated with the planet. It was very organic. Very, I mean, I think a lot of the starseeds, if they saw my vision, you know, they would just be like, "Oh my God, I want to move there, you know, tomorrow, you know, or today."
You should have someone illustrate that.
I will someday. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
if someone would probably love to do that who's a futuristic artist, because
Yeah.
that would give someone like we can all kind of meditate on that, right?
Oh yeah, we can all try to create that, right? You
Create
know.
it by looking at it and say, yeah, I'm in with that. Let's do it. So the structure would have to, to finish up this little section
Section.
here, uh, people listening. So I suppose that things may get a little worse before they get better, but that's part of the plan,
It's
correct?
part of the plan, yeah. And the one thing the Arcturians told me over and over again was that the 3D is an illusion. It's a false matrix construct, and that we're just all kind of playing kind of like an avatar role in this, you know, matrix construct, um, and that we're going to be ascending. You know, we're going to be ascending. They said not to worry about it. Everything was under control. And you know that things are going to look really bad for a while, but they said it's just an illusion. They said that like 5 times, you know. So
Got it.
and at the time I didn't understand what they were saying, because I was thinking, well, everything seems pretty real to me, you know, it looks real. But now that, you know, I've been on this journey for a while, you know, since 2012, I do see what they're talking about. It is a matrix, and it's not real, not real at all. And we're kind of co-part of it. We're co-creating it, but we're also moving out of it. I'm seeing a lot of star seeds moving out of the 3D matrix. So myself included,
Right.
I'm out of it. So
Yeah, that's and really in a quick amount of time, right?
oh yeah, oh
I mean,
yeah,
you've gone through this. That's one thing that's interesting too, is that, yeah, some of these new star seeds are being born. They have instant memory, but as older models, sometimes it takes a while. But it doesn't have to be like a whole lifetime. When you're ready to wake up, you can get a download, and it can happen pretty instant.
oh, your life will change. It would change. I've seen it happen over and over and over again with my clients. I've seen it happen to me. I mean, there's massive changes. And I think it's happening faster and faster. Back in 2012, it was a little slower for me. You know, took me a couple of years just to kind of figure out what the heck happened to me, you know, on board the ship. You know, I was just still kind of processing it.
Right. Who did you talk to about that? Could you, or did you? Did you just talk to your partner because he loves
Uh,
UFOs and stuff?
Yeah,
Or
I did tell him, and he didn't believe me at first. He believes me now because,
hmm
you know, I mean,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I mean, because he's seen the changes. I mean, it's been,
Yeah.
you know, massive, massive changes. But I've told a couple of friends. I told my spiritual teacher, and she told me, "Oh yeah, you had a ET abduction experience." And I guess during that time afterwards, it was kind of like a near death experience where you had this
Mhm.
incredible experience, and then you go through this. You're on this high for a while, and then you get like the crash.
Yeah, I hear you.
You've experienced that. It's like the crash.
Yeah. And the same thing too with my seeing the UFOs. I'm really sad. I really want to see it again. I'm really upset. I mean, that sounds terrible, but I have like depression because I really want to connect.
Oh
I've never
yeah,
felt so
I was crying
loved.
every day, driving myself to work, crying like, "I want to be on back on board the ship. Whoa, I miss the ship. I miss the beings." I was crying
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
But no, but the depression is real. It's totally real. It's real.
Well, it's because the love vibration is so higher, much higher at these higher realms and with these higher beings than it is here.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, you're on.
feels
I mean,
good.
you're feeling this high. This
Yeah.
constant high, and you're getting this sensory overload of these beautiful colors, these beautiful energies, and it's just all the I mean the even the details of things are so crystal clear and sharp, and it makes the 3D reality look kind of dull. So
It's
when you're back in the 3D, you feel really depressed, and I've been told that this is very similar to what people that have had NDEs go through, that they were in,
true.
some sort of higher dimension or
Mhm.
heaven, and then they get kicked back to earth, and,
Yeah.
they're having to, I guess, process, what happened to them.
Well, and there's a couple ways to look at it when we say this is an illusion here, and I'd love to get your feedback, but this is an illusion here,
Yeah.
then we have these physical bodies and they seem very real. I mean, if
Oh,
you put
yeah,
it you
totally.
put it in a car and you run into a tree, it might hurt.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
it seems very rare. However, our higher state has a better body than this.
And actually, I
One of
think
my
we're upgrading our physical bodies all the time. Because another thing I'm noticing, I know we kind of commented a little bit before you started the recording, but I think a lot of us are becoming younger. Because I'm going to be turning 60 in July, and I don't
You
think
look awesome.
I mean, I
And
don't.
have you noticed it's being reversed back? Why is because they're helping us with the job? Because I feel like I look at my pictures younger. I mean, look, you can see that I'm getting older, but there's something else going on. It's like in some ways I look younger. It's like I don't know what they're doing, but it's almost like, and they keep telling me this word. I don't know if they've told you this word, but they use it a lot. Is bioluminesce and said
Yeah,
we're
yeah, I've heard that
bioluminescent.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, we're bioluminescent and said that,
I think I think once we take on the mission, because they want us here for a while, they want us healthy.
hmm,
We do go kind of through a de-aging process, and I see it in you too. I mean, you definitely don't look your age at all. I mean, you're about my age. I mean,
I
you don't
don't
look.
act it.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I feel like I'm going through my second teenage years. I mean, but I feel like I look younger now than I did when I was 40. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So.
when I look at pictures, I'm starting to look in some like I'm reversing and I can't put my finger on it. It's very odd. So maybe they're just trying to help us out a little bit because they do have the technology and honestly we should live longer, but there's so many things and that are toxic.
We live in a very toxic environment.
Very.
Oh my God.
The electromagnet, the what the 5G waves and God knows what else and the food and what yeah, a whole
Oh
bunch. I
yeah.
could go
Oh,
there, but I don't want this to be taken off, so I won't go
oh
there.
yeah. No,
I don't want to go there, but there are things that are very toxic to us, and even things that we put in our own body that are toxic too. So, yeah, I think that the bioluminescence. I think part of that, don't you believe, is part of it? Is part of our starseed DNA that we can
it
actually
is.
blast light through our body to cleanse it.
Yeah. No, I believe that too. Because I've had people ask me, "What are you doing to de-age?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm in the records all the time. I don't know, but it's because I think we're of service. We're being of service to humanity, and And I think it's our star families probably, you know, taking us up on board the ship in the astral realm and upgrading our DNA, you know, so,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, it's so, speaking of that, there's probably quite a few people watching that are going, "Yes, I've had these dreams. I have had the dreams where I was on the starship and this guy, I didn't even know Astor shared. I didn't know who he was. I mean, I was like you, I don't know. And talked to him. He gave me a tour. I said, "Why am I here? I'm really high up." And he goes, "Well, it's time for you to know." And I was like, "Okay."
they're doing it to a lot of us. I mean, my story is just like the human story. I mean, it's like my story is everybody's story. You know, that's what I feel like.
Yeah,
You know,
it's right. It's got to be happening everywhere because I talked to Preston Denton, who was on here, and he goes, "No, there are others. I've been on there too." I said, "But they're really nice." Took me on a tour. He said they give you like hot soup or tea afterwards. I went, "Yeah, matter of fact, they did. And they wanted me to take a bath." And he goes, "Yeah, they do that." And so a hot bath, I think it's like the fireplace. So
oh yeah, it was the fireplace for me. It was just like and I have one actually in my room here, so there's a fireplace back there, but my office.
and
But
isn't that so sweet? It's kind of like when you're courting someone and you know if someone likes, pink roses, you give them the pink roses.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
they
Yeah,
know. That's
they
very
know what we
sweet.
like. Yeah, so yeah, they know that I'm kind of partial to fireplaces. I don't know, or a lot of humans are actually, I think. But
Yeah, and cozy, warm, and I guess they know
warm,
some people
yeah.
like hot baths, they feel clean. So, yeah, so this is happening everywhere. Now, what do you know? And then we'll go back into the mothership and so forth, because we're working toward this utopia. Have you heard anything? Have they given you any download information about the 144 light workers? Is that a myth? Why 144? Or is that just, do you know
I
what I'm
think
thinking
there's
of?
various levels to that number 144,000.
Right.
I think it's a DNA structure as well.
Ah,
Um, so I don't think it's technically only 144,000 light workers. I think
okay.
it's I do know that there's 144,000 twin flames that are going to be merging together to bring in the love consciousness energy, and that's currently happening across the planet. You know, so I keep hearing that as well. And I think a
Explain
lot of us, that's a
that.
whole other conversation we can get
Yeah,
into.
yeah. Can you just define real quick? I just don't want to leave someone with a misunderstood twin flame and why they need to get together. Just I know it's a whole different one, but
It's a whole different conversation, but a lot of us, because when we first started off, we were humongous souls. And a lot of us, when we start to separate, we separate per I would say, the galactic template, which is the feminine and the masculine.
got
So
it.
yeah, so when our souls split, we become a masculine version of the soul and the feminine, what they call divine masculine, divine feminine. And so we kind of split and we go through our own individual journeys. We connect at times, um, but the reason why twin flames are so important, and it's kind of like a little bit above like a soulmate, because when we do come together, we're kind of accelerating the ascension process or the evolutionary process. You
It's
know,
a completion. It's like a joining.
joining.
It's something energetic. Okay.
Yeah.
So are
So
they the
a lot
same
of
soul? Are
what's
they the
that?
same? Are they the same soul? The same
The same
person?
soul. Yeah, the same soul.
Got it.
So the
Oh,
soulmate is like two different souls. So that's what so that's
mhm,
what you see with
right.
soulmates. With a twin flame, is the same soul, but they're having different incarnations. So one's usually feminine and one's usually masculine, even if they're the same sex. So it's usually more one's carries more of a masculine energy, one carries more of a feminine energy. But I think what I'm
Got it.
seeing, with a lot of my Akashic Records readings is that a lot of us are reconnecting with our twin flames at this
In
time.
the astral plane?
Oh yeah, it could happen in the astral plane.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of activity. I just wake up exhausted. I'm on that little light white grid. I'm just going to town. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
talking to people. I'm like, "How you doing? You need a healing? What's going on? Hey."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, it could be. I think a lot of us would like to connect with them physically, but it could also happen in the astral realm too.
Got it.
So.
What about the divine feminine being more in both? I see sometimes I'll see people like I see you have a good balance of male and female.
Hmm.
And I see some people that are more dominant more than the other, and then I see people that have both. Does
Yeah,
that
I would
count?
say no. That's pretty typical. A lot of times when I do readings for people, I'll say, "Oh, you have predominantly a feminine energy, or you have predominantly masculine." And then there's people like me that are more kind of androgynous. I'm a little bit more
I'm in the
mixed.
middle. Even though I look girly, I'm really cool with being a guy too.
Yeah, I was in the military, so I definitely have some masculine qualities, but, um, and I'm kind of a loud speaker. I don't know. I'm kind of I'm a Leo, I have this, kind of big energy, so, so definitely more of a masculine, but I think I'm well integrated with the feminine too, so,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
you're anchored in both. Yeah, I'm Aries. I'm anchored in both. I'm bold, but I'm both. So I think that's part of that, really being able to address both, I think is healthy. When I see people that have both, they're usually very balanced.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
would say I'm a fairly balanced person, at least according to my astrology charts. Uh, so, but anyway, getting back to the question about, I
The
guess
the 144. So you're thinking it's the
144.
DNA. Do you think
I
it's
think
a
it's mostly
DNA?
regarding the DNA. I think we're going to be expanding to a 12-strand DNA structure.
Are they doing that? Are we doing that with them? Are they giving us downloads like at night and when they're just
I
like
think it's
upgrading
a
us?
combination. I think it's mainly upgrades through downloads at night. But I think there's also going to be technologies that are going to be implemented that's going to help us to attain that, for those of us that might be struggling. Because there's some folks that are, maybe have more health issues that might need some, like, support. So I'm talking about med beds and things like that.
Right. They've been right. Like the light. I've been shown Tesla keeps showing me about the light. He goes, it's basically free. It's easy to build in
Yeah.
this biolight, and it can actually repair all the DNA and all the toxins in there so you can and he it just penetrates the light. So maybe that's kind of like the med bed.
Yeah, no, I see. I think there's going to be integration of extraterrestrial based technologies on planet Earth that are going to be, totally revolutionizing the medical field. We're not going to be dependent on big pharma and, drugs, synthetic drugs anymore. Or maybe we can even probably bypass a lot of surgeries, at some point,
That
so.
would be that's we really need that. And I know that based off of other shows on Gaia TV that has been here. So you think that will be released our
I
lifetime?
think it'll be released soon. I think there's going to be a lot of changes and they're not even saying years anymore. They're saying months. It's saying months. It's like,
We really need it. The pain and suffering is very unnecessary. All that this is a very low tone game on a lot of these things. So, and I know that we this is just the order this came up. So, and then we're going to get back on that ship. But as
yeah, we
far
got to
as
finish the ship story, and then we can delve into all the other stuff.
okay,
So, yeah.
so let's go back. So the utopia, you're talking about the utopia. Did they say how long that it would take?
No, I was actually I was starting to cry when I saw it, and I said, "Is this going to really be real? Is this really going to happen?" They say it's up to us, and as far as the timeline, it's up to us.
Okay, all
You
right.
know,
So it's in
So
the
they,
works.
they explained to me about the whole law of non-interference and free will, and so I was like, okay, I kind of get
Mhm.
that. It has
Yeah.
to be a free will decision of the collective here on planet Earth. So it can't just be forced upon us because then we wouldn't be ready for it. So
Yeah.
so it was. So I understood that part of it, and going back to, wandering the ship, I ended up in this huge atrium, and that was like the last portion of my visit. It was kind of like the centermost point of the ship. There was various levels. It was very organic. There was like animals and plants, and I don't know. It didn't look like a starship I've ever seen, but it was kind of almost like a big floating city or something. I don't know. It was really interesting, but
Now, when did this happen? You're still in the same ship. It was just another part of it,
it was
correct?
just another part of it. Yeah, I was kind of
Okay.
wandering around by myself, kind of seeing what was out there, and I ended up in this atrium, and there was hundreds of extraterrestrial beings on board the ship, and they weren't all Arcturian. Some of them looked Pleiadian, some of them looked Syrian, some of them looked, Andromedan. There was different races, and the majority of them were humanoid looking, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like, they weren't like these crazy looking beings like you see on Star Wars,
Yeah, yeah.
So, but you could tell they weren't Earth humans. You could tell that, there was something different enough about them. Mainly the energy, and a lot of them were very tall. A lot of them were, I always say, ridiculously good looking. I mean, like,
I was going to say, are they like the perfect model human, meaning they look
they look pretty
flawless?
darn good.
Yeah. Okay.
It was, I mean, it's like it takes your breath away, because it's like you never see humans look this good. I mean, it's like, holy crap, I mean, luminous, just luminous. The hair is luminous, the skin, the eyes. I mean, it's just like, oh my God, it's like, how do I date these guys? I mean, it's like, how do I hook up with one of these?
Okay, this interview is going down a weird way, but I'm thinking, I don't know. This sounds
crazy
pretty
sense
good.
of humor, but
I'm thinking, wow, okay, well, that's the,
no, there's
the dating service. That sounds like a better deal there.
I mean, because it's because I deal with a lot of starseeds that are frustrated. They're trying to find their other half or their partnership, and they're frustrated because dating in general is really difficult, but trying to find an enlightened person to date, I think, is extremely difficult. So I don't know. There was this T-shirt I saw once that said, "I only date Pleiadian, Syrians, Arcturians." And it had like a I thought, man, I need one of those.
That is so funny. And then the
No,
Venetians
I
are
am in
gorgeous.
partnership, so I found a wonderful starseed man, but yeah, I feel for the starseed ladies and men that are looking for their partners, but yeah, a lot of us, I think, are I think on the journey of connecting with, I think, people that we're meant to be with, as the vibrations get higher, so getting back to the atrium, I'm going to just finish this up. So there was these light shafts. They looked like kind of rainbows, but they were kind of transporting people across one end of the atrium to another. And I thought it was like a beam of light. I don't know. There was no like structure to it. It was just a beam of light. And so I was seeing beings being transported on this beam of light. And I thought, well, I want to do that. I want to go see what that's like. Yeah. So I was trying to get on one, and it kept throwing me off. It was just throwing me off. And I was getting frustrated because I was like, what am I doing wrong? And a Pleiadian being, I think he was Pleiadian, caught me, and during, I think, the third or fourth try, and he told me telepathically that the reason why it wasn't working for me was because I needed to set an intention of where I wanted to go. So you just can't go on it. It doesn't just take you anywhere. You got to set an intention. So that's kind of a metaphor for life, right? You got to set an intention.
It really is. Yeah. Manifesting.
Manifesting. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it your way. So I thought exactly where I wanted to go. And then I got on the light shaft, and it was transporting me across the space. And then next thing I knew, I woke up and I was back in my bed. Darn it. So.
Oh, you must have been really bummed out. That was
It was amazing. It was an amazing journey. Amazing. It's just one of those experiences that you'll never ever forget, your entire life, because it's so amazing. And I would love for everybody to have that kind of experience. I mean, I think we all are having different experiences, but I think it was definitely life-changing for me, because I was not the same person when I woke up.
Well, and I think that what's interesting about your story, some people can, come to this with, DNA activations. It's in the DNA, and they, oh my God, I remember. Or it could be like you just put a very genuine call for humanity. We need help. I mean, I'm trying to do my best, but I need some help here.
Yeah.
And you got a response, and it was a very loving, pure response. And it was hopeful. It was hopeful for this world. And
Yeah,
so,
no, it
and then
was, it
go
was
ahead.
kind of cool too, because for the first time ever on planet Earth, I felt a sense of belonging, like I belonged to something, I belonged to the Arcturian family, and they were telling me about my lineage, my Arcturian lineage, and it was amazing. It was just life changing, just I'm so proud of my family, proud to be a part of it. Even though sometimes I feel like, why me? I'm just this ordinary, great, silly human. But I'm proud to be a part of this ascension, project that we're all on.
Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.